In this video, we're going to be looking at what's happening with the Olympus WOW camera and also the Lumix GH6. Roll credits. Hi YouTube, Brian James at Micro Four Thirds Guy with you once again, and a little update from the car. Haven't done one of these for a few months, so I thought it was time to have a catch up and see what was happening in the world today. And first of all, I'm going to be looking at what's happening with the new cameras. Do you know, it seems ages ago since I made a video saying about the Lumix GH6. And it seems ages ago since I did a video about the new release Olympus WOW cameras. They call them the WOW. I hope it's a WOW, because it's going to be very much a disappointment if it isn't after all this wait. It's a huge amount of time for both, and we're still waiting for them. Now, there has been some update news, but I'm also concerned as to whether it's actually too little too late and if we really need them. So let's have a look at what I've been gaining in the last couple of days. I've had a little look online to see where we are at with them. And if I start with the WOW first of all, well, it appears that there's going to be on the 24th of this month, the 24th of February, there's going to be a big announcement about the WOW camera, and we're going to see it. Olympus have, OMD Systems, OMD Digital Solutions, or whatever they're going to call themselves, OMDS. They have released some teaser pics where you can see a little bit of it, but not a great deal. And it looks to me as if it's something of a next stage EM1 Mark III. So it'll be the next stage from that, which is logical. My concerns, is it going to be all metal bodied or is it going to be plastic? As in the 5 Mark III. There's good and bad for both. I'm not knocking one or the other, but it does make me wonder what it's going to be like. But there's also big talk about sensors on it. And this was going to go for both the cameras I'm going to mention today, about sensors. Are we going to be having an upgrade to a 24 megapixel sensor instead of the 20 that we have on the high-end Lumix and Olympus cameras at the moment? Or are we going to be having a 20 megapixel sensor, but the stacked sensor which Sony have developed? For those of you who don't know what a stacked sensor is, basically it's two layers. One layer handles the image itself, and the other layer handles the data processing on it. And in simple terms, in very simplistic terms, it's a huge lot more complicated than I'm just making it out to be. Don't comment on below. I know it's a lot more complex than that, but this is a simple version for simple people like me. In essence, what it does is it gives you a huge amount of speed increase, either to take more frames per second, or if you're using something like electronic shutter, the theory is that instead of getting that sort of distortion, that motion distortion and blur that you get on electronic shutters for moving objects, hopefully it should be able to give you a much better resolution on them. I'll wait to see what happens on that. But which would you prefer? Because at the moment, I've got an EM1 Mark II and also a G9. Both have a 20 megapixel sensor on. I've got my EM1 Mark I, which has got a 16 megapixel sensor on. And even with that 16 megapixel, I never feel pushed. I never feel as if I'm struggling on it. In fact, I've got the GX8 is also a 20 megapixel sensor on that one. And none of them seem to be at a loss for anything I can do quality-wise. But the trouble is, they've got to keep up with the competition out there. And when you've got Sony and Nikon and Canon who are really pushing the pixel count through the roof, to be competitive, they do need to have those numbers. It's what we do. It's what we have in the market. You know, the numbers game is what sells the cameras a lot of the time. But I wonder how many photographers out there, like you and me, actually need the large pixel count on the sensors. Personally, I don't. You know, 16 to 20 megapixels is perfectly adequate for anything I'm doing, and I'm not doing anything specialist enough where I really need to push it. So what do you think on that one? There's so it's interesting to see what the sensor will be. It's going to be interesting to see what the spec of the camera is. It's rumoured to be coming in about $2,000. Now, usually we have a almost straight translation between dollars and pounds, so it's going to be about £2,000 UK. So let's see what happens on that one. So the 24th, that's going to be, there's also, I'm just having a look down here, I've got some notes on this one. On the CP Plus show, the Japanese the CP Plus show there's going to be a press announcement, as I said, on the 24th of the 2nd, and that's at 1500 hours Japan time, Tokyo time. I don't know what the time difference is for where you are, but on the 24th of the 2nd, Olympus are doing a press release at 1500 from the CP Plus show. Similarly, the day before, the 23rd, but at 17:30, I think it is, again, Tokyo time from the CP Plus show, Lumix are going to be doing an announcement as well. So they'll be interesting to see. Keep your eyes open for them. And since I mentioned Lumix, it nicely takes me onto the GH6. Now, it seems forever since I did a video mentioning about the GH5 Mark II and the GH6 announcements. The GH5 Mark II coming out at the time that I made the video, and the GH6 was rumoured to be late 2021. Well, it's early 2022 now, we still haven't seen it. It's a camera I probably wouldn't be interested in the same way as I'm not particularly interested in GH5 or the GH5 Mark II, purely for the fact I don't do that sort of video work. My videos are very simplistic. But the GH5 and the 5 Mark II pretty much have been market leaders in video production work from small sensor cameras for some time now, and have been very, very successful. They've got lots of things which really work with those cameras, not having limitations on recording time on your 4K, the ability to put XLR inputs in with an adapter straight into the top for the microphones, all that sort of stuff. There's lots on there, and some fantastic recording modes for videographers. I know the GH9 caught up a lot of those modes, but it lost an awful lot of the extras, which a GH5 really took it into the ability to make professional quality videos. So the GH6 really has, first of all, a big set of shoes to fill, but secondly, it's got to be quite a major step up to make it worthwhile for most people. And we've waited and waited and waited for this, and the rumour that I've heard is that there's going to be a prototype, or there's going to be early production models being used for the Winter Olympics very soon. So that might be the first real sign that we see it used. Just a few figures on this. Sorry about looking down, but I've got them written down there. The rumours are that it's going to be 422 10-bit DCI for 4K 60p. Unlimited recording time, as I say. Now, that really is a bonus for a lot of people. 10-bit 4K 120p on MFR and VFR modes, and also 10-bit 5.7K at 60p. So we've got some really nice bit rates, but also really nice resolutions, but also a fairly high bit rates on that. I've got no idea any more specs other than that, and as I say, it's not something I'll be buying myself, but I know that there's a lot of people who watch this video who do use the GH range and have been eagerly awaiting the GH6. So what do you think? Are these new cameras going to be worthwhile waiting for? What sensor is going to be used in the GH6? I haven't actually seen anything which confirms that. Is that going to be a 24 megapixel sensor? Is that going to be the stacked 20 megapixel sensor? Or is there something else in the pipeline we haven't actually been made aware of? Let me know in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, which is somewhere down there, I think. Wherever it is, hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell for notifications, and don't forget there's a PayPal link if you want to try and support the channel with a small donation. That's really appreciated. So whatever it is, this is Brian James at Micro Four Thirds Guy signing off and eagerly awaiting to see what happens at the end of February for these cameras. All the best. See you soon. Bye bye.